All right, guys, grab your drinks, sit back, and buckle up, because what I'm about to walk you through might just be one of the sneakiest, most overlooked moves of the entire Chicago Bears offseason. And no, I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about a potential hidden gem the Bears just added to their edge room, a move so under the radar it didn't even make national headlines, but it has the kind of upside that, if developed right, could turn into something special under Dennis Allen's watch. Because the Chicago Bears' edge situation, while improved in recent seasons with the additions of Montez Sweat and DeMarcus D.O. Walker, still feels like it's missing one more puzzle piece. That young, raw, physically gifted, and maybe even slightly terrifying prospect that no one saw coming but everyone remembers once he breaks through. And I believe that piece might just be Xavier Carlton, the massive 6'6", 270-plus pound edge rusher out of Cal, who somehow, for reasons that baffle scouts and fans alike, went undrafted this year. And I know what you're thinking. How does a dude with that size, length, and explosiveness slip through 7 rounds of NFL selections? Well, that's what we're going to unpack here, and trust me, once you get the full picture on this kid, his background, his traits, his upside, and more importantly, how Dennis Allen can mold him into a monster in Chicago's scheme, you're going to be rooting for him to make the 53-man roster before we even hit week 1, because sometimes it's not about where you're picked, it's about where you land, and Carlton just landed in the right place at the right time on a Bears team that is hungry for depth and production at the edge, especially in a division with quarterbacks like Jordan Love, Jared Goff, and potentially J.J. McCarthy all trying to claim the NFC North. And that brings me to this. Dennis Allen isn't just some placeholder DC. This man is known for getting the absolute most out of his defensive linemen, particularly the bigger hybrid edge 5-tech types who can move up and down the line and mess up offensive game plans from multiple alignments. And guess what Xavier Carlton is built for? Exactly that. And when I say this dude is a freak of nature physically, I mean it. You don't teach 6'6" with nearly 35-inch arms and 10.5-inch hands. That's alien-level wingspan we're talking about. And while his rawness as a pass rusher may have caused some teams to pass on him, the traits are all there. Raw bend? Sure. But elite size, power, and discipline against the run? That's rare in a UDFA. And Carlton's film at Cal shows a guy who wins with length, stack and shed power, and an ability to seal the edge on early downs that coaches love. And when you throw in his 4'8", 440 at that size with decent lateral agility and decent broad numbers, you realize we're not talking about a lumbering project here. We're talking about a physically capable, moldable clay type of player, and the best part? He's already been one of the first UDFAs signed by Chicago, meaning Ryan Poles and Dennis Allen saw something in this kid immediately and pounced. And by the way, if you follow the Draft Network's scouting reports or dig deep into what anonymous scouts have been saying for months, you'll find phrases like ball of clay, massive frame, early down asset, run game technician, and interior hybrid potential, which should immediately perk your ears up if you're a Bears fan, because this defensive line room, as improved as it is, still needs more trench warriors who can control the run game and offer a developmental ceiling as pass rushers. And Carlton fits that mold, especially when you consider the rotation behind Sweat and Dio includes raw, unproven guys like Dominique Robinson and rookies like Austin Booker. And speaking of size, let me hit you with this for a second. Montez Sweat, 6'6", 262. Dio Walker, 6'6", 276. Austin Booker, 6'6", 245. Dominique Robinson, 6'5", 275. This isn't just a pass rush room, it's a skyscraper skyline, and Carlton fits right into that DNA like a custom-made prototype. Now let's talk run defense for a second, because while sacks make the headlines, it's what you do on 1st and 10 in December against a divisional opponent that makes or breaks a defense. And the Bears absolutely collapsed against the run when Andrew Billings got hurt last year, and it showed, especially with the interior lacking depth and edge contain falling apart late in games. But what does Carlton bring to the table? According to tape and reports, he's one of the few edge defenders in this year's draft class who approaches the run game with technical patience, discipline, and physical dominance. He's not just running upfield blindly and hoping to catch a back in the backfield. He's reading, setting the edge, disengaging, and flowing to the ball carrier like a vet. And that's why I think Dennis Allen was all over this one. Because in Allen's scheme, edges aren't just pin-your-ears-back pass rushers. They're soldiers in a gap control war. and Carlton thrives in that role. Now, yes, the pass rush needs refinement, no doubt about it. He's raw in terms of twitch, doesn't bend around the arc like a speed rusher, and lacks polish in his counter moves. But that's where coaching comes in. And if you're betting on traits, betting on size, and betting on a system that knows how to hide weaknesses while developing strengths, Carlton might just be one of the smartest bets on the Bears UDFA class. And when we dig into his actual production, it's better than you think. Last season at Cal, he put up 50 total tackles, 11 tackles for loss, and 4.5 sacks in 13 games. But the year before, he cranked it up to 9 sacks and 14 TFLs. And that shows growth, something every scout is looking for in late-round or UDFA talent. He's improving, he's refining, he's responding to coaching. And that's the kind of trajectory you love to invest in. Not to mention his pass rush grade reportedly spiked last year, which tells me he's figuring it out. And given the right reps and development under Dennis Allen, he could become a dangerous rotational piece within 12 months. And if you still need more reason to be intrigued, remember this. This is a guy who spent his college career at both Utah and Cal, playing against legit Pac-12 offensive lines, getting better every year. And now he's a 23-year-old super senior, walking into a building with elite coaching, a defined defensive identity, and a position room that's not overcrowded, but just open enough to allow a guy like Carlton to carve out a role. Now let's go back to what Ryan Poles looks for in defensive linemen: size, length, explosiveness, developmental upside, and grit. Carlton checks all those boxes, and if you ask me, Poles bringing him in so quickly after the draft wasn't a coincidence. It was calculated, and it tells me they had him circled before day 3 even started. And I get it, he's not a finished product, but nobody in May or June is. This is when the scouting departments earn their salaries, by identifying upside that no one else believes in and handing it off to coaching staffs who can maximize it. And Carlton, for all his flaws, has the foundation. And if you watch training camp closely, I'd keep my eyes glued to him every time the second unit takes the field, because I've got a feeling Dennis Allen is going to put him in positions to win early and build confidence. That's how you build monsters in this league. And just imagine if he pops in preseason. Imagine a couple of big stops on 3rd and short, or a half sack where he bull rushes a backup tackle into the quarterback's lap. It's those moments that stick, that earn a second look, that make the coaching staff say, "Hold on, we might have something here." And next thing you know, you've got a UDFA rookie dressing on Sundays and eating real snaps in rotation. And that's what this is about. Opportunity. And this one feels like it's waiting for Carlton to grab it. So whether he makes the team outright or starts on the practice squad, I think his path is clear. Develop the pass rush,